What if the only thing holding you back is the way you see yourself? In this story-based guide, you'll discover how to develop a growth mindset, not through theory, but through real emotional steps that shift how you think, speak, and show up in the world. Whether you're learning English, facing life challenges, or trying to become the best version of yourself, this journey will help you believe again in progress, in possibility, and in you. Have you ever looked at someone else's success and whispered quietly to yourself, "I could never do that"? Have you ever seen someone speak fluently, start a business, get promoted, or just seem so naturally confident, and in the back of your mind, you thought, "They're just lucky. I'm not like that"? If so, you're not alone. And I want to tell you something very important. That voice inside you, the one that says, "I can't," "I'm not good enough," or "I'll never be like them," that voice isn't telling you the truth. It's just repeating a belief. And beliefs can be changed. Because everything begins in the mind. Your success, your failures, your growth, your decisions, your habits. All of it starts with one simple thing: how you think. If you believe you can grow, you will try. If you try, you will learn. And if you learn, you will get better. And if you get better, you will succeed. But if you believe you can't, you won't even begin. That's why the most powerful skill you can build is not a technical skill, not speaking perfectly, not writing beautifully, not even being the smartest in the room. It's this: believing that you can change, that your brain is not fixed, that your abilities are not permanent, that your future is not limited by your past. This is what we call a growth mindset. It's the quiet belief that no matter where you start, you can get better. And it's not magic. It's not reserved for a few special people. It's something you build step by step, by how you think, how you speak to yourself, and how you respond when life gets hard. That's what this episode is about. Not a lesson. Not a theory, but a journey. A shift in how you see yourself. Because once you begin to shift your mindset, everything else starts to shift with it. The way you handle mistakes, the way you speak to yourself when you fail, the way you face problems, the way you trust your future. You don't need to be perfect to begin. You don't need to be brave all the time. You don't need to be confident yet. You just need to be open. Open to the possibility that maybe, just maybe, you've been more capable than you realized all along. So stay with me, not just with your ears, but with your heart. Because in the next few moments, we'll walk together through stories, reflections, and small mindset shifts that can help you grow into the person you've always wanted to become. Not by force, not by pressure, but by believing in the gentle truth. You can change. You can grow. You are not stuck. Let's begin. Let me take you back to a classroom. 2 students, same teacher, same subject, same test. The first student, let's call him Leo, looks at the test paper, sees a hard question, and immediately sighs. His pencil stops moving. His shoulders tense up. And in his head, a quiet voice says, "Here we go again. I'm just not good at this." He gives up halfway, not because he isn't smart, but because he believes he's not smart enough. Now the second student, let's call her Mai, also sees the same hard question. She frowns. She struggles. She feels stuck. But her voice inside says something different. She thinks, this is hard, but I'll try. Maybe I can figure it out. And so she does. Slowly. Step by step. She doesn't get every answer right, but she stays in the game. Not because she's naturally better, but because she believes effort matters. This is the quiet difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. Leo believes intelligence is fixed. You're either smart or not, talented or not, capable or not. So when things feel hard, he thinks, this is a sign I'm not good enough. And he quits. Not because he's weak, but because his mindset tells him to. Mai, on the other hand, believes that effort leads to growth. That struggle is part of learning, that just because she doesn't understand something today doesn't mean she won't understand it tomorrow. And this belief, quiet, simple, invisible to others, becomes her secret strength. It helps her stay longer, try harder, learn deeper, and eventually grow stronger. Now ask yourself, which mindset sounds more familiar to you? Are you more like Leo, pulling back when things get hard? Or like Mai, willing to struggle because you trust it leads somewhere? There's no shame in your answer. Because here's the truth. We all carry both mindsets inside us. In some areas of life, we feel strong. In others, we feel small. And in those small places, the ones we avoid, hide from, or doubt the most, that's where your growth is waiting. It's not about becoming someone else. It's about changing how you talk to yourself in hard moments. Instead of, I can't do this, say, I can't do this yet. Instead of, I'm not good at this, say, I'm learning to be better. Instead of, I always mess this up, say, this time, I'll try something different. These tiny shifts in language, they change how your brain responds. They change what you believe is possible. They change the path you take next. You are not your past patterns. You are not your worst day. You are not stuck in your current skill level. You are always one new mindset away from a new direction. So, today, start listening to the voice inside you. Catch the thoughts that make you small and gently replace them. Not with fake positivity, but with honest belief in growth. Because even if you're not there yet, you're on the way, and that matters. Let's go deeper. If you've ever told yourself, I'm just not good at this, that voice didn't come from nowhere. Most of our fixed beliefs don't begin in adulthood. They're shaped quietly, in childhood, in classrooms, in conversations, in little moments that seem small, but stick with us for years. Maybe someone once laughed at your accent. So, you stopped speaking up? Maybe a teacher said you weren't good at math, so you stopped trying. Maybe you compared yourself to your sibling, your classmate, your coworker, and decided they had something you didn't. Without even realizing it, you began to build silent walls in your mind. I'm not creative. I'm not athletic. I'm not smart. I'll never be as good as them. And the mind, being the loyal servant that it is, tries to protect you from failure by keeping you small. It says, don't try. You might look foolish. Don't speak. You might make a mistake. Don't start. You'll probably fail again. These thoughts don't sound mean. They sound safe, familiar, comfortable. But they're not truth. They're leftovers from past experiences, past voices, past fears. And the good news? What was learned can be unlearned. You are not stuck with these beliefs. They are not facts. They are not permanent. They are just thoughts you've repeated over and over until they felt like your identity, but identity can evolve. I once heard someone say, "Your brain is like a garden. Your thoughts are the seeds. Whatever you plant and water, that's what grows. So if you keep planting, 'I can't, I'm not enough, I'm a failure,' then of course, you'll grow weeds of doubt. But if you start planting, 'I'm learning, I'm growing, I can figure this out,' then little by little, new beliefs begin to take root. It won't happen overnight. Old thoughts are loud. They've been there a long time. But every time you catch one and challenge it, you take your power back. So let's make this real. Think of one area of your life where you feel stuck, where you keep saying, "I just can't." Now pause. Write that thought down. Look at it. And ask yourself, is this a fact or is this a fear? Most of the time, it's just fear in disguise, and you don't have to be fearless to move forward. You just have to stop believing every voice that tries to keep you small, because the truth is, you're not broken. You're not too late. You're not too far behind. You're just a person with some old beliefs and the courage to build new ones. And that courage? It starts now. Changing your mindset doesn't happen in one big moment. It happens in the quiet ones, in small choices, in how you speak to yourself when no one is listening. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a shift in how you show up for yourself, today and again tomorrow. So how do you do it? How do you move from, "I'm not good at this," to, "I'm learning to get better"? Let's walk through it. First, awareness. You can't change what you don't notice. Start by paying attention to your automatic thoughts. They'll show up when you're tired, when something goes wrong. When you try something new, you might hear them say things like, "I'm always like this. Why bother trying? I'll just fail again." Pause. Notice those thoughts. Write them down if you can. That's the first step to breaking their power, putting them in the light. Second, replace, don't erase. You can't just tell your mind, "Stop thinking that." It won't work. But you can offer it something new, something better. Instead of, "I'm terrible at this," say, "I'm still figuring this out." Instead of, "I'll never improve," say, "I improve every time I try." Instead of, "They're better than me," say, "I'm on my own path. I'm growing in my own way." At first, your brain might resist. It's used to the old story. It's comfortable there. But you're not here to stay comfortable. You're here to grow. Third, practice in real moments. The best time to build a growth mindset is not when everything's going well. It's when you're struggling, you spill your coffee, you forget an appointment, you mess up a word while speaking English. That's when the old thoughts will show up. "See? I'm careless. I'm disorganized. I'll never be fluent." But that's also when you get to choose a new path. Pause. Breathe. Speak kindly. Say, "I'm learning to slow down. I'm working on being more prepared. I'm getting better every time I try." That's what real mindset shift looks like. Not a big speech. Just a quiet decision to treat yourself differently, because how you treat yourself when you fall determines how fast you rise. And fourth, track your growth. Every night, ask yourself, What did I try today that was new or uncomfortable? What mistake did I learn from? What small progress did I make? When you shift your focus to growth, you begin to see yourself through new eyes. You stop chasing perfection. You start celebrating effort. And that's where transformation lives. You don't need to wait until you're more confident. You don't need to wait until you're ready. You don't need to wait at all. Start today with one small choice, one kinder thought, one brave action. And tomorrow, you'll be just a little stronger than you were today. Let's talk about challenges. The hard stuff, the messy stuff, the things that push us to our edge. Most people run from challenges. It's natural. Challenges feel uncomfortable. They bring up fear, doubt, frustration, and yet challenges are where the growth lives. They're not obstacles to your success. They're the doorways to it. When you avoid difficulty, you avoid the very thing that makes you better. But when you embrace difficulty, even a little, you begin to change who you are. Let me tell you about a girl I once knew. She loved art, but she was terrified of showing her drawings to anyone. She kept her sketchbook closed for years. Why? Because deep down, she was afraid someone would say, "That's not good. You're not talented. You'll never be an artist." So, she stayed hidden, until one day her teacher gave her a challenge. Submit your drawing for the school art show. She froze. Her hands shook. She thought about backing out, but something inside her whispered, "This is your moment. Do it scared." So she did. She submitted her drawing. It didn't win first prize. It wasn't perfect, but something powerful happened. People saw her. They encouraged her. And more importantly, she proved to herself that she could do hard things. That moment changed everything, not because of the drawing, but because she faced the fear and did it anyway. That's the heart of a growth mindset. Not, "I'll do it when I'm ready," but "I'll do it while I'm learning." Think of the challenges in your own life right now, speaking English in front of others, applying for a job you don't feel qualified for, trying something new, and risking failure. Each of these is a chance, not just to succeed, but to grow. Here's the truth. You don't become confident before the challenge. You become confident through the challenge. Confidence is not the absence of fear. It's the willingness to show up with the fear. And keep going. So what can you do when a challenge comes? Don't say, "Why is this happening to me?" Say, "What is this here to teach me?" Don't say, "I'm not ready." Say, "I'm becoming stronger every step." And if you fall, don't say, "I failed." Say, "I learned. I'm growing." Because every challenge you face is like a weight that strengthens your mindset muscles. You may not see results right away, but inside, something is changing. Your brain is rewiring. Your confidence is rebuilding. Your character is deepening. And that is the kind of success that lasts. Failure. That word can feel heavy. It carries memories, disappointment, embarrassment, regret. But what if failure isn't something to avoid, but something to learn from, to lean into, to use? Because here's the quiet truth many people never hear. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of it. It's not the end. It's the doorway. When you have a fixed mindset, failure feels like proof. Proof that you're not good enough. proof that you should give up, proof that you'll never make it. But when you have a growth mindset, failure feels different. It becomes feedback. It becomes data. It becomes a teacher. Let me tell you about someone who failed again and again. He applied for jobs, got rejected. Applied again, no one called back. He sent in proposals. They said no. He tried to start something online. No one watched, no one listened, and after all that, most people would quit. But he didn't. Why? Because every no became fuel. Every rejection became a lesson. Every moment of silence became a moment to grow stronger inside. He stopped asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and started asking, "What can I learn from this?" He didn't need one big win to change everything. He just needed to keep showing up. That person? He didn't become famous. He didn't go viral. But he became resilient. He became wise. He became someone who believed in his journey, no matter how long it took. And eventually, success found him. Not because he never failed, but because he refused to let failure define him. So let me ask you, what failure are you still carrying? What moment in your past still hurts? And what if it wasn't there to break you? What if it was there to build you, to teach you something that no success could ever teach? Failure teaches you humility. It teaches you patience. It teaches you grit. It teaches you how to rise with dignity when everything inside you wants to hide. And when you rise, again and again, you become unstoppable. So the next time you fall, remember this. You're not back at zero. You're not starting over. You're starting wiser, stronger, more aware. You've got information now. You've got experience. You've got resilience. Failure is just part of the process. Don't fear it. Use it. Because the truth is, every great story you admire is filled with chapters of failure, and yours will be no different. But that's what makes your story powerful. If you want to build a strong house, you start with the foundation. You don't begin with the roof. You don't decorate the walls. You don't hang pictures or install lights. You dig deep. You lay bricks. You build what no one sees, but everything else depends on. That's what your mindset is. It's the part people don't see, but it shapes everything they do see. Your success, your relationships, your goals, your energy, even your happiness. All of it grows from your mindset. If your mindset is weak, your confidence cracks when someone criticizes you. Your focus crumbles when things get hard. Your motivation fades when progress is slow. But if your mindset is strong, you stay calm under pressure. You keep going after rejection. You believe in yourself, even when no one else does. It's not about being perfect. It's about being steady. That's why the most successful people in the world aren't always the smartest, or the fastest, or the most talented. They're the ones who don't quit, who believe they can grow, who see problems as practice, who refuse to let failure define them. They've trained their mindset like a muscle, and so can you. Because here's the truth. Your mindset shows up everywhere, in how you speak to your children, in how you respond to stress, in how you handle rejection, in how you treat yourself when you fall behind. It shows up in the tiny moments. The morning you wake up tired, but still take a deep breath and try again. The evening when you didn't finish everything, but still speak kindly to yourself. Those moments matter, because they build your mindset. One thought at a time. One response at a time. One choice at a time. And every time you choose growth over fear, kindness over shame, patience over panic, you strengthen the foundation. Your life doesn't change in one big leap. It changes quietly as your mindset shifts underneath everything. So today, ask yourself, am I building from fear or from belief? Am I reacting or responding with intention? Am I shrinking or growing? You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to keep asking the right questions, because the moment you start working on your mindset, your whole world begins to shift, slowly, gently, powerfully, from the inside out. Listen closely to the words people use, and you'll hear their mindset. I always mess things up. I'm not that kind of person. I could never do that. I'll probably fail again. These aren't just words. They are beliefs in disguise. They are quiet instructions your brain listens to and follows. Because language is powerful. Every sentence you speak is like planting a seed in your mind. If you say, I'm just not good at this, your brain prepares for failure. If you say, I'm learning something new, your brain opens to possibility. If you say, this is too hard, you focus on the problem. But if you say, this is challenging, and that means I'm growing, you focus on progress. That's how mindset works. It lives in your language, in your self-talk, in the way you explain your life to others and to yourself. You don't need fancy affirmations. You don't need to repeat, I'm amazing, 100 times. You just need to be honest and hopeful. Let's look at a few small shifts that create big impact. Instead of saying, I can't do this, say, I haven't figured it out yet. That one word, yet, turns a full stop into an open door. Instead of, I failed. Say, I'm learning through this. Instead of, I'm terrible at public speaking. Say, I'm still getting comfortable with public speaking. See the difference? One shuts you down. The other gives you space to grow. You're not lying to yourself. You're choosing a mindset that allows for movement, for effort, for growth, and that small shift in how you describe yourself is the beginning of everything. I remember once saying, I'm not good at explaining things in English, but every time I said that, I gave my brain permission to stop trying, to hold back, to stay small. So one day I changed the sentence. I said, I'm getting better at expressing myself in English, one sentence at a time. That little change didn't make me fluent overnight, but it made me try again, and again, and again, and slowly. That became a new belief. So today, I invite you to pay attention, not just to what you say out loud, but to what you whisper to yourself in quiet moments. And when you catch yourself saying something that closes your path, pause and gently say something new. You don't have to fake positivity. You just have to tell a better version of your story. One where growth is possible, one where effort is enough, one where change is allowed, because your words shape your world. And every time you choose a better sentence, you build a better mindset. Have you ever looked at someone else's life and thought, they're so far ahead, I'll never catch up? Maybe you've seen someone speak better English, get promoted, faster, seem more confident, more successful, more at ease. And in that quiet comparison, you started to shrink. You started to feel like you were behind, like maybe you weren't doing enough, like maybe something was wrong with you. But here's the truth. Comparison is a thief. It steals your peace. It steals your joy. And worst of all, It steals your focus from the one life you've been given to grow, your own. What you see in others is never the full picture. You see their highlight reel. You see their progress, their wins, their smiles, but you don't see their doubts, their late nights, their quiet failures, their internal struggles. So when you compare your beginning to someone else's middle, you create pain that doesn't need to exist. Growth mindset is not about being better than anyone else. It's about being better than you were yesterday. It's about moving forward, even if it's slow, even if no one claps, even if no one sees, because your journey is not supposed to look like theirs. You didn't start in the same place. You don't have the same struggles. You don't have the same pace, and that's okay. Growth is not a race. It's a personal path. One step, one lesson, one breakthrough at a time. The day you stop comparing and start focusing, really focusing, on your own journey, that's the day everything changes, because now you have your energy back, your attention back, your power back. You can finally use it to build your life, not chase someone else's. So here's something I want you to remember. When you see someone doing well, don't feel small. Feel inspired. Their success doesn't take away from yours. Their light doesn't dim yours. Use it as proof that growth is real, that people change, that it's possible. And that means it's possible for you too. You don't need to catch up. You need to stay consistent. You don't need to be them. You need to be you, fully, truly, and patiently. Your path is not late. Your progress is not small. And your life doesn't have to match anyone else's to be meaningful. So the next time you start comparing, pause, take a deep breath, and come back to your lane. That's where your growth is. That's where your future lives. Your mindset isn't something you set once and forget. It's not a switch you flip. It's a garden, and it needs to be watered daily. Because even if you understand growth, even if you believe in change, you live in a world that constantly sends other messages. Messages that say, you're not enough yet. Be faster. Be better. Be perfect. So if you don't protect your mindset, if you don't feed it, those outside voices become your inside voices again. That's why the small things you do each day matter more than the big things you do once in a while. Let's talk about a few small habits that strengthen your mindset without needing more time, energy, or perfection. The first habit is morning intention. Before you pick up your phone, before you scroll, before you check your messages, say one thing to yourself. Today is a day to grow. That's it. Just that. One quiet reminder to start your day as a learner, not as a judge. It softens your mind and opens your heart to what's ahead. The second habit, mindful language. Throughout the day, listen to the way you speak. Instead of saying, I'm bad at this, say, I'm still learning this. Instead of, I have to get this right, say, I'll grow through this either way. Every sentence you shift is a brick in the foundation of your mindset. The third habit, evening reflection. At the end of the day, ask yourself, what did I try today that I didn't know how to do yesterday? It could be something small. You spoke up in class. You asked a question. You practiced English out loud. It doesn't matter how big or small. What matters is that you noticed your effort. Because effort is the real evidence of growth. The fourth habit, celebrate progress. We're taught to celebrate big wins, graduations, promotions, big numbers. But what about the quiet victories? The day you didn't give up, the moment you showed patience, the time you forgave yourself, those deserve celebration too. So every day, write down one sentence. Today, I'm proud of. And fill in the blank. Not with perfection, but with progress. And the fifth habit, surround yourself with growth. Listen to podcasts that lift you up. Read books that remind you of your worth. Watch content that supports your goals. Speak with people who believe in change, who see you not just as you are, but as who you're becoming, because your environment shapes your energy, and your energy shapes your mindset. You don't have to do all of this perfectly. Start with one habit, one sentence, one decision, because every time you choose growth, you are building something powerful inside. You are not just learning English. You are not just developing a skill, you are developing yourself. And that is the most important work you'll ever do. Sometimes, it's not about knowing more. It's about remembering what you already know at the right time. That's why the words you say to yourself daily matter so much. They become your internal soundtrack, and when life gets noisy, stressful, or uncertain, those words either lift you or limit you. So let me share with you 3 simple phrases you can practice every day to strengthen your growth mindset. These are not just words. They're reminders. They're anchors. They're choices. Phrase 1. I'm not there yet, but I'm on my way. This one changes everything. It removes pressure. It creates space. It keeps you moving. You don't need to speak perfectly today. You don't need to have all the answers now. You don't need to feel fully confident yet. You just need to believe you're on your way. Progress is the goal, not perfection. Keep saying this when you feel behind, stuck, or small. Let it soften your frustration and bring back your patience. Phrase 2. Every mistake is a lesson, not a label. Say this when you fail, when you mess up, when something goes wrong. Most people take a mistake and turn it into a story. I'm not smart. I'm not capable. I'm not meant for this. But that's not the truth. A mistake is just a moment. It's not your identity. It's not who you are. It's how you learn. It's how you grow. So instead of hiding from it, talk to it. Say, thank you for teaching me. Let's try again. Phrase 3. This challenge is growing me into someone stronger. When life feels hard, when your goals stretch you, when your dreams scare you, when your path gets rocky, this is the phrase that grounds you. Because the difficulty is not a sign to quit. It's a sign that growth is happening. You're being shaped, trained, built from the inside out. You may not feel strong right now, but strength is being formed. And this challenge is part of that process. So don't resist it. Embrace it. Say, this isn't breaking me, it's building me. These 3 phrases may sound simple, but spoken daily, they rewire your brain. They retrain your thoughts. They return your power, so repeat them. Out loud, in your mind, in your journal, in the mirror. Wherever you are, let these words walk with you. I'm not there yet, but I'm on my way. Every mistake is a lesson, not a label. This challenge is growing me into someone stronger. because the way you speak to yourself is the way you shape your future. Take a deep breath. You've come a long way, not just through this episode, but through every thought you've challenged, every doubt you've faced, every step you've taken, even when it was hard. This journey isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming real. It's about becoming aware. And most of all, it's about becoming willing to try, willing to fall, willing to grow. Let's take a moment to remember what you've practiced. You've learned that a growth mindset starts with a decision. To believe that change is possible, that effort matters, that you are not stuck where you started. You've discovered that old beliefs can be unlearned, that the voice in your head can be softened, that the words you speak to yourself can either block you or build you. You've explored how challenges are not roadblocks, but doorways. That failure isn't shameful, it's useful. That setbacks aren't signs to stop, they're signs to keep going. You've practiced new language. You've seen how small phrases, spoken daily, can rewrite your identity from the inside out. And you've remembered that your journey doesn't need to match anyone else's. Because growth isn't about comparison. It's about consistency. It's about showing up. It's about choosing progress, again and again, even when it's slow. So what now? Keep it simple. Wake up each day and say, "Today I'll grow a little more." Notice your thoughts. Catch the ones that limit you. Replace them with kindness and truth. Practice being your own encourager, your own guide, your own source of strength. Because when your mindset becomes your friend, your life begins to open up in ways you never imagined. And if you ever forget these lessons, come back to this episode. Come back to your notes. Come back to your heart. Because the path of growth is not a straight line. It's a spiral. You revisit the same lessons, deeper each time. You fall sometimes. You rise again. And that is what makes it beautiful. So, before we close, let me remind you, you are capable of change. You are worthy of growth. You are already enough, even as you evolve. And you're not alone. We are walking this journey together. So keep going, keep learning, keep growing. Your mindset is not a limitation. It's your superpower, and you are just getting started. A growth mindset doesn't happen overnight. It's a quiet decision made over and over to keep moving forward, to speak to yourself with kindness, and to trust that change is possible. If this message spoke to you, share it with someone you care about. And remember, you're next. Step doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be yours. You're not behind, you're becoming, and you're already enough.